everybody, I'm Alice K. Ruckelhaus, and I'm from SufferingWell. I'm going to share about autism. This is kind of hard for me to do publicly. Many of you do know that I have autism. I've mentioned it, but I haven't really shared very much about it. Right now, I'm not in a meltdown, but I feel like for the last at least 2 weeks, I've been getting closer and closer to one. It's what I call dancing on the cliff. It's like you're trying to get away from it, but you keep being pulled closer and closer to it. And then eventually I get to the place where I feel like I'm hanging on by my fingernails and then fall into the abyss. So that's how I describe that. I'm telling you this simply because I want you to know that I decided to share this while I'm actually going through this. This isn't the worst part of it. Yesterday was really, really bad, and I'm doing a little bit better today. So I'm kind of like at that place where I'm still experiencing it, but I'm at a place where I can talk about it a little bit more coherently, I think. The reason that I want to share with you about this is because there are so many people now who are autistic, many, many more than there used to be. I don't remember the statistics completely, but I think that I've heard that back in the 60s, it was like 1 in 1,500 or 1,200 or something. And now it's 1 in 35. Some statistics say 25, some say 65. Anyway, it's a lot more. And more people, especially women, are being diagnosed as autistic as adults. I actually was diagnosed when I was 60. I'm not severely autistic, and so I wasn't labeled that way, but it also now helps me to understand a lot of what happened in my past and a lot of the things that I struggle with. So I'm still learning a lot about autism. And one thing that I also want to say is that there's a saying, if you've met one autistic person, you've met one autistic person. And we say that because everybody's different. I think this is probably true with any disease or disorder or affliction, that, everybody has their own symptoms, their own difficulties with it, their own whatever, the way that they deal with it, everything is different. But because I don't have severe autism, but some of my experiences when I've shared them with friends and others who have someone in their family who's autistic, it has helped them. So again, my experiences aren't necessarily the same experiences of other people with autism, but I thought that it might help those on the spectrum just to hear. I think the more we hear from other people on the spectrum, the more it helps us. And we feel like there's somebody who understands even a little bit. But also those of you who love someone with autism, or you work with someone with autism, or you vaguely know of someone with autism, hearing about this may help you to understand them a little bit more, but also especially to help you to pray. And even if you don't know anyone with autism, maybe this will give you some ideas of how you can be praying for us, because that's the main thing that we're about on this channel, right? Is about praying and also about offering up our suffering. And I'll talk about that probably in a different video. But right now, I just kind of wanted to give a little bit of an introduction of what's coming and that I will be sharing this. One of the things that I wanted to share about is just my view of autism. And again, this is individual to me. Everybody's different. And again, I am not very far on the spectrum. So those with severe autism may feel very differently about this than I do. But to me, right now, I'm really being afflicted. And so it's hard and I see it as not good. Most of the time, I'm able to see it as a thorn in the flesh. St. Paul talked about how he asked God to heal him of a certain affliction, and God allowed it to remain as a thorn in the flesh, because he said, my grace is sufficient and my strength is made perfect in your weakness. That's what God said to St. Paul. And so I try to see it that way. I also recognize, and I think this is true of everybody with autism and maybe everybody in the world, but we have special superpowers, and there are some that are very typical, like being able to really recognize patterns that nobody else sees, but there are others too. And we have those superpowers. And so sometimes I just feel like, okay, autism is kind of a double-edged sword. You have these superpowers because of the autism, but you also have the suffering, which is the thorn in the flesh. So I'll be sharing with you some of my experiences, maybe some of the things that I found that help, and some of my viewpoints about this. I am Catholic, and so I will be sharing specifically as a Christian and as a Catholic. I'm going to be sharing a lot of things with you, and I hope that you'll join me. I hope that you will also consider commenting about your experiences, both as someone with autism or someone who loves someone who's autistic or works with someone who's autistic. All right, I love you all, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.